Oh shoot. Okay, nice. Yo, what's
Ah,
going on, Dawes? What's happening, man?
hey, it's
Hey,
all
man,
happening.
glad to have you here, brother. I was trying to type and text you and stuff like that, so I can let you know that I didn't even start the live or anything. But it
Okay.
started now. So it started now. I'm
Okay.
just gonna kind of brief you just a little bit, real quick. So what we're gonna do is actually, you mind if we just jump into it? So okay, I'll explain just a little bit. What I want us to talk about here would be, of course, branding, the thing that you do best, branding, some photography, and just to dive into a little bit about you talked about turning your brand into pretty much making your brand become more visible in the noisy world. I want to also cover understanding your worth and becoming confident with charging a premium price. Is that cool too? And
Absolutely.
then that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I have a link down here to it. So everything sounds cool with you?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, brother.
Mhm.
All right, let's get into it. I didn't even play my little intro music and nothing like that. I was like, look, we could just jump. God, I know you got to get to the kids and everyone. So
All good,
let's
man. Yeah,
leave.
it's been a wild day, but here we are.
Oh, it's been a wild day, man.
Oh yeah.
We'll go ahead and we can talk about that, private. All right. So right now, guys, I have the honor of speaking with the Dauss Miller. This right here, this guy, this gentleman is a branding expert, a photography expert. Has been in the game for, I believe, more than 30 years.
Yeah, I say 30 years, 29, 30 years. Yep.
Oh, excuse me, more than 29 years. And man, he's an awesome guy. He's very authentic, very genuine. And man, I just can't wait. He's gonna drop some gems for us. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about you, and before we get straight into the gems and stuff. That's cool with you, Doc?
Absolutely. Let's have
Let's
it.
get it, big money. Let's go, let's go. And so, just for a heads up, what's gonna happen is, you'll see me looking over here, just a couple places. It's not like because I got like problems or anything. I'm just trying to make sure I keep up with like chat and questions.
Sure.
What I'll do is, if anyone has questions, I'll pop them up right here. It's going to be like the bottom left of the screen. And just because of the last live that I did, what happened was, if like someone's, I'm not going to cut you off anything, but I'm going to try to type in the chat to like welcome anybody. Right now, I am. And so just letting you know, right now we're streaming live on YouTube. We're live on IG. I'm just checking the IG right now. And then we're live on Facebook as well.
Cool.
So let me dive into IG. All right, bet. We live. We got the live on IG. Right now, I'm just looking to Facebook, okay? Making sure I keep track of whoever's on here. Hey, what's going on? So if you're in the live right now, drop a question. I'm speaking with Dauss. Dauss is the man with the plan. He's a branded photographer. He's an agency owner. I mean, he does anything branding, visibility. We're also going to be talking about charging premium pricing and being confident with doing that. We're also going to be exploring and getting to know more about Dauss and how he works. If you're on Facebook, make sure you drop a comment because I can't see who's exactly in the chat. If you got any questions for Dauss, just drop it right in here, all right? Okay, boom, boom, boom. My apologies, Dauss. I'm trying to make sure I maintain these different chats. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Dauss, let's get straight into it, man. So, who are
Let's
you
go.
and what do you do?
What do I do? In a distilled, short couple of sentences, I extract the genius of a subject or a business or a brand, and distill it into something that is clear, which one of the most important pieces, that it's clear and concise for their audience to capture and absorb and understand. So it's going to stand out to the ideal audience, and it's going to be easy to understand that this is for me.
Mm, I love that. And why did you decide to take that route? What got you into it?
Great question. So how much time we got?
Man, we're
I
gonna try to keep this short for you because I know you got things to
yeah,
do.
yeah. All good. Yeah, so I've been a career photographer. I, started in I really built my business as a wedding photographer, and moved into editorial portraits in about 2015. At the same time, I started to explore commercial work. So as I was really growing my commercial brand, shooting for big name brands, doing lifestyle editorial stuff, which was great for experience and the bank account. My passion began to grow as I was working with like real people, kind of telling their stories and growing
Mm,
their personal brands to connect with more of their audience so that they could, reach more people to do the magic that they were doing. And
mm,
that just felt better to my soul. It felt like I was using my creative skill and passion to do something that was positive, in the
right.
world. So uplifting that business owner, then they can uplift their community with whatever their product, their service, their magic sauce was. Um, so yeah, decided in about 2021 to go all in the branding space,
Oh
as a
wow.
photographer, and then the agency was born about 2 years, 2.5 years after that. So
Mm. And just to make sure I definitely understand, the agency is Planet You, right?
correct.
Planet You. If y'all not look, y'all gotta type into Planet You, man. That's the way to go. Okay, now this is something I kind of want to dive into because you said something that really piqued my interest was that you left the commercial space to work with people, even though it was paying more than the people. Why did I get that right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's leveled out quite a bit. So I wouldn't say that's still the case. But
Mm,
yeah, I definitely took a cut for a period of time to do something that I was more passionate about, that filled my cup more. Um,
mm.
I can't say that shooting a fashion campaign for Target is bad in any sort of way, but at the end of the day, it's like, what am I actually doing? How am I contributing to the world? Like, shooting a Target campaign or a lifestyle campaign for Google or Adobe or anything like that. Great, but I'm not really doing anything, like I'm not really uplifting the global community. I'm not really, helping anyone, like directly promoting fast fashion with Target, like promoting Pepsi, and like, it just didn't really feel great, and something that I didn't, that it's not sustaining for me as a person.
Mm,
So once I moved to Austin, and I worked with a couple of big clients here, it was like, wow, they've got a social media following of 500,000, and they're gonna grow much bigger. They're doing something that is really, really impacting and enriching their audience. So seeing how my images were impacting their business and growing their personal business was enough for me to say, I'm going all in on that.
mm. Thanks for sharing with that with me, brother. So let me ask you this: so if you can say some names, who are some of the biggest names that you've worked with? Let's say commercial and I guess personal brands.
Well, I kind of dropped a few in the commercial space. Pepsi, Target, Google, Adobe. Those are probably the biggest. I work with a lot of smaller, like fashion brands, apparel brands, but yeah, those are the biggest ones. In the personal branding space, probably the biggest name that I worked with so far is Cody Sanchez.
Mm.
Um, she's known for buying boring businesses. Um, but she's got like such a big community, and she also has like a membership that she's supporting other individuals and understanding how to make a business out of buying other businesses. So
Mm.
super cool. And some local Austin people, Garen Jones, Preston Smiles.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I mean that list goes on and on, but some really cool people that have just figured out um, how to connect with people and be clear with how they can impact their lives. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why they're so successful.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make sure
Because
I.
it's not a,
Yep. You do your thing. Do your
yeah, it's
thing.
not about just, sorry.
Oh, do your thing. I'm not trying to cut you off or
Yeah.
anything.
No. Yeah, I just had one more continuing thought. It was just
Mm-hmm.
that it's not about solely having a great product, you know. It's it takes it takes clarity and communicating what you do and who you do it for, right? So that they can find you and know what they're doing with you when they find you. So I'll say a brand that's clear, visible, and valued gets paid more and connects more. Like that's the
Really?
bottom line.
Okay. So I'm gonna come back to what you just said right there. Is it cool we talk about a little bit about family real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Dope. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. So I know you're a huge family man. You love spending time with your family. You have a big family too.
I
So
do.
so all right, so here's the question right here. So because of that, how were you able to transition, let's say, into branding, into photography with such a huge family? Then you're married, you have a wife. How are you how are you and were you able to manage time, still do the business, and then actually commit to doing that full time?
That's a great question, and to answer that, um, it's challenging. I mean, to be honest, like it's been a commitment to um, commitment to failing a lot
Mm,
and learning fast,
mm,
failing fast, learning fast, getting to the solution fast. Um, because at the end of the day, like, money's great, and it's important, it's needed, but it's not the top of the peak of the mountain. Like, that's not the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal
mhm.
for me, especially having a family, is to figure out, what do I need, what's going to make me the best version of me, so that I can more fully and completely support this this household that I'm this life and household that I'm holding.
Mm,
So for me, that meant jumping out of a brand, my brand, that was forcing me to have to travel to Chicago, to New York, to LA, to
ooh,
other cities, other countries, all the time, in order to you know have the financial um, success that I needed to support the family and the lifestyle that we wanted. But at the
mm,
same time, as our younger babies are being born, I don't want to be gone half the year. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to have to cancel a trip because something special is happening at home. I want to be able to be home and be present and all the things.
right.
So it forced that transition, really quickly. Once I met my wife, it was like she's the one. I know it. Like, I'm starting over again. I had a can't remember how old they were at the time, but two older kids that from previous relationship, and met my wife in 2017. Got serious. Things got serious around 2018, and it's like, all right. Then the babies start coming 2019. It's like, okay, got to make some changes here in the next couple of years.
Right.
So that's what I did.
Dang, okay. Now, do you mind sharing like how big is your family? Because some people, they be like,
Um,
I got one, that's it. So maybe they can
yeah,
motivate.
we're a blended family of six total. So my wife and I have three together. Um, Eshua, who just turned one, Violet, who just turned three, and Justice, who will be six next month. And then I have a bonus son via my wife's previous relationship, who is 12, Elijah. And then I have two older, Sylvan, who's 16, and Jaden, who will be 27 in November. So
You said 20. Oh, we're about the same age. Holy smokes. I didn't
I know
know.
I told you that. Yeah, yeah.
You did say that. I was like, wait a second. That's cool, man. And I just really love how I really love like how you just keep that together. I think that's so important. especially being an artist, man. That's always like, because you know that term struggling artist and how you was able to find that way. And I know there's some challenges thing, but you always make it through. So I think that's really dope how you able to do that, man.
I appreciate it. It is not easy.
That was like, and that's leading me into, you talked about like failing fast and learning fast, right? So okay, cool, because even that's a mindset. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that is a mindset to even do that. So how did you even have the courage, or what developed the courage to even develop that kind of mindset?
Yeah, man. I love that you brought up mindset because that's one of the like another really important piece of being successful in life, right? Like understanding your own personal values and then having the mindset to prioritize your life, your business, your goals, and all the things to make it happen. So yeah, like for me, it just comes down to what's important for me and having a family to support. Um, I have to create something that satisfies my own personal creative need, my own personal desire to impact the world positively, create a positive ripple, and also something that enables me to be present as a parent and as a father and as a husband in the household. So it kind of comes down to a couple of things, and it's like this is the thing, and I've got to figure out how to make that work, no matter what it takes. If that means I for 6 months I only sleep 12 hours a week,
Oh wow.
or I'm not saying that that's reality, but I mean I do have spells where where I can't get everything I need to get done unless I work overnight as well. So there's
Jesus.
everyone understands the grind, and you have to measure and balance what you're capable of, and understand what your limits are and all of that. But the bottom line is these are the things that I have to accomplish. I have to figure out how to accomplish, and um, this is how I get there. So commit to that, and you know make it happen. Like, because you don't. I mean, you have choices, obviously, but if you're going for this thing, and you can figure out what it takes, the steps that it takes to get there, and you commit to that, and that's just what you make your life.
I love that response, bro. That I see it, man. Big time Dauss, man. He got the responses. All right, so we're gonna bring it back a little bit, because you were talking about it's not about having the best or greatest product or service, right? So what made you discover that that's not entirely true?
As a photographer, a visual artist, as technology advanced and developed, like I started photography in the dark room with a film camera, like
Mhm.
when there was a specialty to it, an archival process that took education and understanding of a lot of things. The
Mhm.
barrier to entry was actually a barrier that wasn't just this floodgate that everyone could just enter freely. Once digital came, and now like technology is such that, and now AI in the scene, it's like you don't have to know anything about the creative process, really. You don't have to know anything about how to operate a camera. It's not hard to take pretty pictures. I mean, just look on Instagram or anywhere where people are showing up. Everyone is taking pretty pictures.
Yeah.
So it's in order for success to be a reality as a visual artist, there are a plethora of other things that become important, other than just being able to make pretty pictures. So
Hmm.
creating a pretty photo or creating a pretty brand or creating pretty stuff is super easy, and that now just becomes a part of the noise of pretty stuff that everybody's doing. So what makes you special and unique among the pretty stuff out there? Do you have a clear message? Do you have clear values? Do you have are you personally clear on your values and how you connect with your audience? Because if you don't know your value, your audience doesn't either. They don't know
Mm,
what you're special for. And they'll price you accordingly. If
mm,
they don't know, but and they see your pretty work against someone else's pretty work, and that other person charges 50 cents for what they do, then you're worth 50 cents too.
mm.
So you have to be clear on your own personal stack of values and um, how you impact your audience.
Mm. Hey man, he dropped some straight heat, man. Uh, just in
I hope
case.
so.
No, no, you did because that right there, I didn't discover more of that until I understood that we have marketing and media, well, marketing businesses. And let's say if you're in the creative space, then it's just more like art, right? But I'm glad that you said that. And then here's my follow up question with this one, right? About to hit you with them, Doss. Is how do you even know your value? How do you determine that?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. So, um, how do I answer that?
I
I
had to, man.
yeah. Well, okay. So if you're in business for yourself and you have a service or a product, you've got to figure out what that costs, right? Like it's going to cost you something, and it's going to cost something else to manage it and run it and make it an actual thing. And then you've got to figure out like how much of this thing do you need to do for on the work side, like as a career or whatever. How much of that are you going to need to do to live the lifestyle that you need to live, right? So just to be square and easy about it. um, but then thinking about how like your audience or your customers or clients, like what this service is doing for them. Is it something that is going to be making them money? Is it going to be providing them an experience or a memory or an heirloom, something like that? um,
Mm,
a value is associated with that. It's like you're not just showing up at, like I'm talking about photography, you're not just showing up um, with a skill and knowledge with this device and clicking a button and that's it. Like you're doing something for them. They're looking for someone to provide them with something that they value, that they care about, that they're willing to pay for. So yeah, I would put all of that in a pile just to be easy about it, and come up with a number that makes sense.
okay, yeah, you just dropped some major gems. All right, you talked about number, and then we're gonna move away from pricing. You talked about a number that makes sense. Something that I experienced because I'm 29 now, and I just got it is was like I was scared to charge a perceived high number. Right, I'm getting out of that now. All right, and how do you know what's a good number, what's a bad number? I know you said your lifestyle, stuff like that. And you do have people that are like, okay, well, I think, or I know I deserve this, but then if I charge set price, who's finna take a take that chance on that? So what would you
Mhm.
say to someone like that then?
I would first like have them. All right, are you experiencing these things? Do you do great work and you're undercharging probably because you're unsure how to position your value or how to talk about it. Like, what is this actually doing for you, and why should you pay this number? Are you struggling there? Um, the clients that you do have, are you attracting like bargain clients who don't really respect the art that you do or respect your time or your talent or your expertise? Because that could be a thing too, and that happens because of probably how you're pricing and how you're positioning yourself. Is there price resistance once you have, if you have what you perceive to be a high price? Is there resistance because the offer isn't clear, and the person doesn't understand or doesn't connect to an emotional need, an urgent emotional need. So they're like, that's not something that I care about or I'm into. Um, and are you also, along with all of this, being crazy busy in business? Are you busy, but then you're not being profitable? Like there's some misses happening there. So I say position yourself to provide something that is valuable to your client for whatever reason. Like it depends on what kind of photography you're doing or what you're doing exactly, but there is very high value to whatever you're providing. If it's a portrait, a family portrait, that's valuable because you are going to freeze frame a moment in time for that family. That becomes an heirloom. That's something that generations can look back on. And to take something as simple as a portrait and make it an art piece in your own creative way, like there's crazy value to that because no one can do it like you can. And that unique artist expression of something special and unique for a family or for, I mean, the whole thing, for a business, for anything else, um, is valuable. So it all depends on how you position it.
Mm,
I,
mm.
I can say I can say because of my lifestyle and because of like what I need to do and what I have to take care of, like my prices are usually the most.
Ah, dang.
Oh, my prices are usually the most. What, are am I back?
Okay, you cut every time you kept saying price. It's like it don't want you to say the. Can you say it one more
Oh,
time?
okay. Yeah, no, I was just saying, for me, because of what I've, how I'm set up in my life and life goals and all the things, if a client differs and they've come across me too, I'm 9 times out of 10 going to be by far the most expensive option. So I have to position myself so that it makes sense for them. They have to understand the value of why my work is so much more expensive. And,
Mm.
I can't say all the time, like, I think I do great work, but I can't say that my work is always going to be the absolute top best visually. But it might provide a better experience for my client. It might provide a better um, outcome. It might provide a better. Uh, um, I like to feel like I'm serving my clients and more than just providing them a photograph. So there's a lot of touch points in there where I'm pretty sure I'm going to provide them more value overall than the photographer down the street. So
Ooh, hey, he just dropped a major gem. Don't just so what I heard from that, you correct me. Don't just center your thing just based on a picture or the number of pictures or locations. You said center it and create it around an experience. You also talked about driving or communicating that image, whatever, in forms of ROI, experiences. Um, Talking about how it shifts, whatever. Am I hearing that correctly?
yep.
Okay,
Yep. If,
dope.
if I could take just a second to just like kind of distill all that down
Yeah,
into like maybe a couple of points.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
uh, Pricing is a reflection of the perceived value, and perceived value is built by your brand presence. So like there's like clarity all over the place. So if you can be clear about all of those things and everything that like in the branding guide that you put together for yourself and everything goes through that lens, if you can make that like the overall goal, then you'll be more successful in being able to charge what you're worth. um let's see. um Visibility equals positioning, or visibility plus positioning equals pricing power. That's something that I think understanding is very helpful. And the market rarely gives you more than you ask for. So you have to set the tone. You have to understand all the moving parts and most importantly, your value, and stand firm on it, be confident about it, be clear about it, and don't be afraid to say the number and wait for the pause. Say the number and just wait.
So don't
Say the
say nothing
number.
else. Don't,
Nope.
let them let them respond. And I'm glad that you went in this direction, big bro, because the reason why is now that we're going to shift over to branding, because like you said, everything comes down to the brand, correct? You said
Yeah,
visibility.
that's
Mm-hmm. Do you think?
no, yeah, I was gonna say that's what it's all about. I mean, that's how, outside of having the important pieces like providing the good service, like having a good product, um, branding is what connects you to your audience. So your branding, your messaging, how you're getting out there. Yeah.
Okay. What makes a good brand? What's okay? What's a good brand? Okay, I don't know if we can do it like this. What's a great brand, a good brand, and then the bad brand? What does that look like? And it doesn't have to be just photography, because I know that you serve different industries or a lot of personal brands. So what's a great, what's a good, and what's a bad?
Am I talking about an actual brand or just like what makes them good, bad, or
The
great?
actual brand, not as far as like their what they do, but like what represents that. I don't even know if that's a valid question, but I think it's a
It's a
good.
valid question. Yeah, of course it's a valid question. Let me think. What is a bad brand that I can think of? um,
I don't know if you need to break it down maybe into personal brands and commercial brands, but I know you say you love serving people, so maybe we could just talk
mhm.
about personal brands.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I can pull out the characteristics of each instead of naming a
Okay.
specific one. Yeah. I think a bad brand is a brand that is unclear. Um, you can't be a successful brand if you don't understand how you serve people or what they need from you.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, like there's no way to be a successful brand if you're unclear. And I think that's a place where it's really common to miss. You know, people get focused on creating something really pretty,
mm,
and then they miss the mark on how to connect with their audience. Um, the audience, their most perfect client could come past the brand and be like, "Ooh, that's beautiful," and then not have any clue about what they would take away from that brand if they were to engage in a relationship. Like they would have to know. So a bad brand is one that is unclear. It's hard to get clients when you're unclear.
mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah. I could go on, but I think that's
That's a
pretty
that's a
concise.
real that was really dope. Actually, I've actually yeah, that was really dope. What are characteristics of a good one, and then something that's just great?
Yeah, a good brand is some a brand that's dialed in on, like, they understand their positioning. They know what they're doing. They do it well. They understand maybe generally who their audience is. So they're putting a bunch of stuff out, and they're catching enough. They get enough of their audience that understands who they are and what they do and what they can do for them. Um, um, but maybe some of their misses are um, specifically targeting that one ideal client that they can multiply a million times.
Mm,
I think that's the main thing that is going to separate a good brand from a great one. A
mm,
great one is going to be, you know, of course, offer a great service, great experience, but they're crystal clear in how they can help their ideal audience member. And they're so clear about how they help that audience member knows it the moment they come across any of their branding assets. Whether it's above the fold copy on a website or a photograph, even, like, to be so clear in the story and what and how you do it, that it happens in a moment, and that it's recognizable. So no matter how it shows up or where it shows up, that person connects to that emotion that they're going to receive from that transformation. That
mm.
makes a great brand.
Ooh, he dropping them. I wish I had like buttons to like emphasize it. I'm like, hey, look, I just started doing all this streaming stuff, man. I love exactly what you said. Um, Look, y'all, hey, and then by the way, this is gonna be it's out of like as soon as we're done, this ends, it's already on YouTube. So it's going to have everything there. And then you can take this video, by the way, and just use it, for yourself. We can chop it up and things like that. Okay,
Okay.
dope. So here's what I want to do now, because I want to make sure that I talk about some things that, especially that you cater to, especially with your agency you. Okay, so why should someone even consider uh personal branding? Like, can I do it myself? Why should I hire an agency or do, let's say, personal branding pictures, right? Let's say I'm gonna break it up. Why should I even do personal branding pictures? And then why should I even just go the agency route and maybe hire an agency when I can just do it myself? Maybe create reels on my phone, right? I mean, I can do that. I can take. You said it earlier. I'm just gonna weaponize what you said, so you can, so as an objection. You said anyone can take pictures. All right. Well, I got this. I got the iPhone. Let's say this is the latest and greatest. Well, I can just take my own picture, hire my cousin El Mundo or something. We can do it like that. I can use Canva, do the background mover, right? We're saving money there. Okay. I can create reels and stuff on my phone for visibility. Landing pages go high. I don't really, I'll just do YouTube. Okay. So that's the image part. So why should I even go the agency route when I can just do everything on my own? Because you said anyone could take pictures. So what's the
Yeah.
whole point of doing that?
Great question. Thank you for asking that question. Um, you can get away with doing it all yourself if you want to. Um, Sometimes people can't tell. Maybe it's not something that they know that they're recognizing, but there is something that happens when you are captured in a way that tells your story, when you are placed within branding assets that are crystal clear and anchored to magnetize an audience. There's um, let me just say it this way. um, I've had like a lot of my really successful clients. They come to me when they're done doing it all themselves. You can get to a certain level doing that. Like, when you're starting out and maybe it is a budget thing, or maybe it's like you're still connected to, I'm gonna do everything because I just feel like I need to do everything. And that's totally cool. Like I've done most of my own stuff, for the longest time. But you get to a point where another expert is going to be able to, first of all, see you in a way that you don't see yourself. They'll see your business in a way that maybe you don't quite understand, because you're not always going to be your most ideal client, because you're the business owner, you're the one producing, you're the one doing the thing. Someone else is going to understand your audience member, your ideal audience member, better than you are. So I think it can work up to a certain point, depending on your expertise and how you do things. But at some point, you're going to reach a spot where you're going to plateau. It's going to get stagnant. It's going to, like you're not going to be growing. You're not going to be standing out to that next best version of your ideal client, because you're doing all of these particular things the best you know how.
Mm,
Um, just as you are an expert providing a service, there are other experts providing services that are going to be more of an expert at doing all of this other business stuff that you shouldn't be doing. If you're
mm,
running your business, you should be focused on connecting to your clients, your audience, visualizing the next iteration of what your service looks like, all of those
mm,
things, marketing and whatever. There's plenty of other things for some other expert to step in and do way better than you ever could. So you owe that to your business, because you're running your business hopefully not just to make income, but to create an experience for someone else, to uplift someone else. So make that more important. So you want to
Mm.
do everything, maximize your opportunity everywhere. Because, like we said, everyone's got a phone, everyone can take pictures, but that doesn't mean I want to spend, you know, hours a week taking pictures of stuff when I can hire an expert to do that and do it much better.
That was a good response. I love that response back. That was actually really good. Okay, so boom. All right, so I want to dive more to you because I understand a lot of things that you're talking about really comes from that marketing side and sales side instead of just only knowing about the creative side. So let's say I'm working with you with your agency. What exactly do you help? Like, do you help personal brands come up with more offers? What all do you do in that agency side?
All the things. We are a full stack agency, so we come in and support where support is needed. We usually start a relationship with an audit. So that means everywhere you're showing up, social media, any marketing, website, any funnels that are there. We take a deep look at your offers and how those offers are positioned. We look at pricing. We look at like we break everything down, so we can step in and support wherever needed. Most of the time, businesses are going to need and this is just because of what I do personally, but most businesses that I come across, they're going to need an up level in their visual branding. Not maybe not because it's bad or whatever, but it's probably outdated, or it doesn't speak the message clearly as I know we can do it for them.
Mm,
So up leveling the visual brand, up leveling the messaging so it reaches their audience clearly. Um, and I think one of the biggest things that we do, that's kind of general, and it's one of those things that a client doesn't necessarily know they're going to be getting, but we help the business owner own the spotlight. We help them understand that they're on stage in the marketing space.
mm-hmm,
So we help them own the spotlight and their value. So we help them clarify their story, communicate and transfer the transformation that they deliver. And it's not just about like what they do, what the tasks that they do. Um, we codify their value, um, listing measurable outcomes, and intangible benefits that they provide. And we make that a part of their messaging so their audience can understand.
mm,
Um, we help them with their pricing, like I said, like their pricing and offers. We align their pricing with their positioning, and their visuals, their words, their presence. They it screams premium. It screams it screams like this is the best option for my ideal client, and we
mm,
make it crystal clear. And the pricing has to match that.
mm,
um, we help them build the signature look and feel, that's consistent everywhere. So they're building trust and recognition with their brand. So if their ideal client sees them on Instagram and then they go to their they see them on Instagram and they're like, ooh, this feels like this feels like the thing I want or I need. And then they go to the website and it's just like, another warm, cozy embrace from this too. Like it's building this ecosphere that ends up being learned and expected, and respected.
mm.
So, um, la da 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 da,
See the dance. I see you.
and, and then um, we engineer moments and create experiences for the brand, and touch points for the clients that reinforce the value before they ever pitch a price. So it's like they are in this rhythm of being in this ecosphere, in this space that's just like comfortable and cohesive, and like the client feels seen and understood and all of these things. And it's not about how much it is, it's about like what they're feeling already. So that's what we do. We create we create the ecosphere that people step into, um, to connect to the brand and all the pieces and parts of it.
Mm, I love that, bro. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of challenge what you just said. All right, so
Please be.
so okay, boom, we heard that spiel, right? Everyone says, let's say something around that, right? Especially if you have this marketing company or if you're a video marketer, etc. Oh, we elevate your brand, we transform this. But why should we trust anything that you're talking about? What makes you like,
What makes me special?
yeah, wait, what's up? Why should we care what you talking about, man?
Yeah, I'm just another dude out here doing the thing, right? I've got a product, service, and experience that I'm trying to support others with. I think, really, for me, it really comes down to personal connection and heart. Um, and just like, just like we have Coke, Pepsi, water, milk. Like, not everyone is gonna want to drink milk all day long, or go to Starbucks. Like, you have preferences, and there's reasons why you have the choices that you choose, in all the places and parts of your life. So I understand that, even as a photographer, and as an agency owner, I have a specific person out there that is not only going to benefit from what I do, they are going to connect with my value pillars, the things that are important to me and the reasons why I'm doing what I do. They're going to resonate with my intentions behind what I'm trying to do for them, and they're going to appreciate my desire to partner with them as business, in business, because I have a true vested interest in the success of what they are doing. Um, like I said earlier, I decided to launch into an agency model because I saw an opportunity to serve my clients better, and it fills my cup to see that I'm connecting and partnering with a business that, I can impact their bottom line and how they serve their audience, by what I do. um, like, I'm gonna want to do that. That's,
Mhm.
like, that's what's special to me, and that's what's important to me. And I think that kind of supersedes all of the other parts and pieces, because we all know the saying, like, people um they don't buy a product. They don't really buy a service, especially when it comes down to personal brands. They buy a personality. They buy a human being. They buy
Mhm.
into a human being. So,
Mhm.
that's what it's about. Finding those other human beings that connect and relate, with what I'm putting out when it's clear.
Okay, I love that. So we're gonna go into just a little bit of game because I know you gotta head out. Family time's coming around soon. Um, Here's where we're gonna go right now. So this is still in branding, but this is now talking about some of the. I want to dive into like the fears, the doubts, anxieties, right behind this. So I know I should. I know I need visibility. All right, I know I need visibility, but I am nervous to show my face on camera. What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, that's challenging. And honestly, I can relate to that for sure. Um, but I tell this story actually all the time because it comes up a lot. Um, because of where we are in the social media, space, and, like, the social media culture, like, people need to see you. Like, in most cases, there's a lot of faceless brands out there, but, um, I feel like the uniqueness of an individual person is what makes the business or the brand stand out from the noise. So we've got to see you. We've got to feel you. And when I was growing my wedding business, um and my dad is a hyper successful businessman. He had multiple businesses as I was growing up, and like that was kind of my model as into entrepreneurship. Um, and he would always say something to me that really stuck with me. It stuck with me for a really long time until I saw how ineffective it was. He always he always said, um, uh, now I can't remember what it says. Never something about never let them know you're black. Basically, like got to be behind the
Oh,
scenes. Don't let them know what you look like because they might have some sort of judgment, and
yeah.
then they won't do business with you. So I was growing my wedding brand, and people didn't know who I was, contact me, and didn't know what I looked like until we met in person. And a lot of times. So I didn't truly reach my first like explosion in business until I decided to put my photo on my website, tell my story, and start talking about what's important and special to me and all the things. That immediately gave my audience something to connect to, or my potential audience something to connect to. So I was seeing, price shopping and bargain, inquiries and lowball this and that, and wasting a lot of my time and energy on phone calls where I was doing a lot of education on why is my price this and what is this and that, until I started putting my face first and telling my story and my why and why I'm doing this and how I can help, all of that sort of stuff. That's what I would share. Because people, at the end of the day, like I said, people aren't just buying a product or a service. They're buying into the person doing it and the story behind it. So
Dang. I'm glad that you actually touched on that. Because I even have a friend like she actually I think moves like that too. So you're saying since you brought up being black, especially a black man, right? You don't so that doesn't hurt your business by
I
being
can't
let's
say
say
it doesn't hurt. I can't say it doesn't hurt my business. I had to face off with this, especially like this is in at the time in Indiana, of a red state, and really, like, and I was priced as high as I could be, probably the highest priced black, especially wedding photographer in my city, and killing it. I do want to say, but
okay,
I want to say, like, if I'm not putting my face and who I am first, and like having people that, especially if it's like if someone's not going to do business with me because I'm black, or they're not gonna want to hire me because there's all of that kind of bigoted stuff happening. I don't That's not my client, right? I want to put as much of myself in my business and brand so that I'm connecting with my ideal clients. So I know there's enough of those out there for me to fill my calendar. There's millions upon millions of people in my area. So that's way more than enough. And I know that I do good enough work, and I can connect with enough people out there that I'm not going to want to work with someone that doesn't like black people because I have to. I don't have to. And I don't feel like anyone should have to put themselves in a position to do something that doesn't feel great just because they need a new client. Like, if your business is positioned that way, I would encourage a brief pause and a step back and reevaluate, because at the end of the day, you're doing something, a service for someone, and I want to benefit that person and that person's life, and I don't want to put a whole lot of energy, I don't think up front with someone that is going to go out of their way to treat me badly if they
hmm
met me at one-on-one on the street. That's not someone I want to do business with. So
mm. Man, I love the fact that you went into that. That was like actually I didn't even I'm glad that you brought it up because that's something that I've heard before. It's like, oh, I didn't really think about that. So
yeah.
that's very interesting that you say that. Okay. We're still in the branding thing. We're almost done here. All right. So what is da 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 da? Let me see. Do you have the I'll skip that because I'm just coming up with it as I'm hearing. I'm like, oh man, that'll be a good thing. So I think I had something I had actually like lost it earlier. Anyways, what would you say is just the no, we were talking. Oh, I remember. I remember. I do apologize because we were talking about
Okay.
anxieties around visibility. This was the other
Oh, okay.
question right here. Um, this was the other question because all right. So the other question is, bam. Let's say, cool. I hired this agency. Let's say I am showing my face, but like nothing. I'm not getting the traction. Maybe that I hired you for, or maybe I'm not getting the traction that I think. What is your response to something like that?
Okay. So like a client comes on and we're not getting the results, the expected results.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
say someone hires you, but maybe they expect to virality or something like that. Like, is that something that I should expect, especially if I do like this personal branding thing that you're talking about? I start showing my face, I start, doing some things to get visibility. Like, what is the actual thing that should be happening? What is the actual transformation?
The transformation is bottom line is clarity. So I feel like the trackable pieces would be engagement. Are you getting responses and more inquiries, more questions, more responses to what you're putting out? Um, like that's the goal. Like I feel like um as someone is showing up, like there's not going to be an immediate like kapow virality, a bazillion dollars a day. It's a process, and especially if it's something that you've never done before. I require my clients to send me one long form piece of content per week, so that we are getting like if they're the CEO or founder or the main voice of this brand, they've got to be they've got to be practiced in speaking the speak and showing up and saying things and like connecting with their audience. So just as much time and effort and energy and money and all the things that went into providing the talent to create this product. um, Fortunately, unfortunately, you've got to work at being the personal brand too. So, there's all kinds of tips and tricks to get more comfortable on camera. And I just encourage people to practice like it's important to you, like it matters to you. Um, so I I don't want to get specific, but I have a client that I'm working through this with now, that is literally worldwide known for what he does, for what his specialty is. Um, I don't know if there's anyone better at what he does, but he's not great at being on camera and talking about it and sharing like what his success has been so far up to the level that he has been, is word of mouth that has just spread like crazy, and the visual transformations that he provides is pretty drastic. So people are like, it's kind of like ooh wow all by itself. But for him to do what he wants to do in this next phase of his business, he's wanting to attract other people to train to do what he does. Now he's got to start talking, he's got to start educating, he's got to start being the face and the voice behind the brand and behind the movement that he's creating.
Mm,
So um it's been challenging to get traction because it is it is going to count on him showing up.
mm,
He's got to show up, so um and then to want to speak on stage and be a change maker and a global mover of people and thoughts and feelings. Like you've got to command that kind of place. So yeah, we've got him on a program and we're working toward it. So
That's
So yeah,
good,
I don't know
brother.
if I answered your question or not,
No,
but
that's good. That's actually really good. I know we went past your time by 2 minutes. How much time do you
okay.
have?
I'm okay. What
Okay,
time?
okay.
3:17.
I'm
All
about
right.
to hit you with these whammies then. Okay, so we're gonna dive into you, man. So what is the if you're able to share, what is the biggest mistake you've made and how did you overcome that?
Wow, the biggest mistake I've made. I've made so many mistakes.
Think about the
um,
biggest one and how you overcame it, like in business, in your biz.
mhm. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take
I think overall, okay, two things come up for me. One that we've already touched on. One of my biggest mistakes early on was counting on my work good enough to do everything else for me. Um,
Mm,
so like you have a great product and that's you count on that to just do the rest of everything else. It wasn't until, like I said, that I put my face and my story behind it, and that I put, literally connecting with other people and making it more about being a person, connecting with other people. It wasn't until then that I started to actually see success. My work didn't change. My work was still like it was. I hadn't
oh,
didn't make any big leaps or bounds in what I was doing necessarily. It was just that people had something real to connect to, something with heart to connect to. Um, that's the first thing. I had a second. What was it? um, oh yeah, um, the niche down conversation. um, I am a creative person that does a lot of things well,
mm,
and I think it wasn't until I decided that I literally can't do everything effectively enough to make this successful without killing myself in the process.
mm,
So, because I was trying real hard to do that and to be the best of everything that I could be. So, once I once I put my face in, once I understood, that's how I connect to the real people I meant to connect to.
mm,
That got me to this next, ceiling. And it
mm,
wasn't until I realized that my to-do list is 15 miles long and I have to create a not to-do list. I have to prioritize what I'm doing as a business owner and as an artist and as a human being and a father and a creative and all the things. I have to understand my priorities and that some of these things I'm spending my time on just don't make sense for me to be spending my time on them. And there is someone else out there that can be doing these things for me or for my business, to free myself up so that I can be more focused on the things that are really going to make an impact. So
mm,
once I understood that and I started to prioritize, you know, what is just for me to do first, these things, what is for me to do, a little down the line, what are these things that I am not to do and someone else can do that's going to buy my time back. One of the
mm,
first things that I released was as a photographer was my batch editing. Like, it was hard at first because I'm a creative and I want to be able to choose and every little bit and piece, because I'm the creator. I snapped that photo and really took me forever to let go of it. But the moment I let go of it, that was literally, you know 20 hours a week that I could get back, like, I don't know if that figure's accurate, but a lot of hours. Like, we spend a lot of hours behind the computer doing things that honestly no one's going to really notice at the end of the day but me and you, and like, no one's going to notice. So
mm,
I released that and let that go and got a crap ton of time back and still had a great product. And
mm,
after a little bit, I didn't even notice. Like, I might put the final touches on, but it's like, shit, this is great. I didn't have to do all that, and it's great. So those are some big mistakes that I've made. Another mistake that I think I had to make multiple times to like get it through my skull. Um, Not every single person out there that contacts you is your client. So don't bend over backwards to, to negotiate on price, and to negotiate on the scope, and to negotiate on chipping your soul away to make this person happy. Because at the end of the day, if they're unhappy and trying to nitpick and all the things on the front end of the relationship, they're going to do that all the way through, and it's not going to be worth it, no matter what they decide to pay you, or no matter what you decide to charge them. It's not going to be worth it at the end, because you put in 10 times the work, 10 times the heartache and headache, and there is someone else out there that is going to appreciate what you do, and understand you as a business owner and as a person, and respect you as all of that, and it'll be a beautiful relationship throughout. So what you do isn't for everyone, and that's okay.
Man, I love what you said. This is something that even one of my coaches. I'm glad you touched on that. Not all leads are created equal. I love
Absolutely
that
not.
you said that. That was, man. It is such. It's so key because it really stops you from just chasing. And of course, you still do follow ups, yeah. But I really love what you said there. Okay, what is the greatest transformation that you have provided someone?
Awesome. um okay, this is good, because this person comes up all the time when any transformational questions are asked. Because it happened in a phase of me where I was just starting to understand the impact that I was having on
Oh,
other people, as a photographer, as a portrait photographer. And this isn't, this is recent, as in the past um, 4 years, 4 or 5 years or so.
mm,
So I had already, been traveling the world shooting photos. I had already booked Pepsi campaign. I had already, shot for Target. I had already done all of these, New York Fashion Week, and all of this big
wow.
stuff, right? But I hadn't truly understood yet that I can really move the needle for someone. So
Mm,
anyway, um, this was after I got to Austin. One of my first, not my first, not the absolute first, but one of my first like 3 or 4 clients in Austin. And she just loved my work, and she had a great business already, but it was time to refresh her photos. And I think she was just looking for a photo shoot, right? Just looking for a photographer to get new pictures for her website.
something basic, huh?
So yeah, yeah. And it usually is, like most people aren't reaching out to a photographer and expecting a transformation necessarily, like they're looking for new photos. Simple. Um, so what happened though was, through our process and what she walked away with, the process helped her see a version of herself that she hadn't seen before. And it really, like, she provided me with marketing copy that really like blasted me off, because it made what I do clear. And I wasn't able to do that yet. I wasn't able to do much beyond, like, I'm a photographer that takes great photos, so come work with me and I'll take great photos. I can provide a great experience too. Like, it's great, but like, as far as like a true representation of what the transformation was, it wasn't until then. And she said some really great stuff. And if you go to my website or anywhere, you'll see some of, like, a lot of the words that she spoke. She said, working with Doss is not just another photo shoot. It's what is it when you have a
I seen that
words
video.
not
I seen the one you're talking about. Now I'm thinking about it. She said
yeah. um
a luxury, an experience. It's a
Yeah, I
life.
can't remember the exact word
She
she
said,
used, but basically she's like, I met the next version of myself. And
mm,
she's like, it's grown my brands, my brand to a level that I had never expected. And she said it was a dream come true because it helped it helped more of her audience see her and her power and who she is, because that's what I did. Like, that's what we do in the process. I help my clients shed away the performance and the masks and the posturing and all of the things, and I really kind of like crack them open to get down to like, who the fuck are you and why are you doing this? Like, why are
Mm.
you doing what you're doing for this audience of people that you want to attract? Like, what's the real thing happening? We get down to the nitty gritty, and when you do that, and you get this business owner in a place that they are truly being vulnerable and open and heart connected and all of those things, that comes across in the photos, that comes across um in in the body, it comes across in the energy that's created. And that had a real direct impact on her business and bottom line. So not only did it help her brand look pretty and updated, it helped connect. It helped her audience have something to connect to, which was her heart, directly to her.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I don't remember the original question, but
No, that was it. That was one.
yeah,
It was just the greatest transformation that you've provided. That was the original question, but that was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah, is it was a because it was it because it expanded her business, but moreover, it expanded her and her own personal container. It helped her see herself as a superhero, to others. So yeah.
Man, and I'm glad that first of all, congratulations on even doing something. I'm know she was super excited for that for sure. Because you led me into something. Um, and then yeah, it's just two more, and then we're done here. Um, you talked about understanding your impact, right? So how did you? Oh, no, 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 no. How does someone else understand their impact?
I mean, it's you have to have a relationship with your clients, like with your audience, right? Like, you have to know, um, uh, and that you've got to put work into that. Ask for feedback at all steps and stages. Like, know what your experience feels like on the other side. Just like anything that we do, we're going to experience it different than someone else. And all of those people are going to have different experiences of it. So it's important to keep your finger on the pulse of what you're providing and what that looks and feels like to everyone that's coming through. So I mean, yeah, that would be my answer, is just like, make it important enough to make it a part of your process, to to walk away understanding what your impact is. You should know what your impact is. Um, and if you don't, um, it's as much as standing up and asking the question, but I think it should be important enough for it to be, really upfront for you to know what your impact is. Um, because if you can't just automatically see it, you're not going to know without having that conversation with the
Have the
person or the business that you're
conversation.
working with.
I
Yeah.
love that. Conversations are the fastest path to cash. It solves everything. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so last two here, and then we're gonna end it off this really good. All right, this is just a hypothetical.
Okay.
A hypothetical. So, as far as branding, you're starting over from scratch, or someone started over from scratch. Okay, they're starting, or they started over from scratch. What are the essential elements you suggest that they do first? Like, I guess you could say, what is like that 80/20?
Okay. They're starting over. New
They started
business,
over or lost it,
new
or they're
everything.
starting? Because it's kind of all the
Okay.
same.
Yeah. Man, so much of what we do comes down to like us on the inside. Like, I'm not a coach or a psychiatrist or anything like that by any means. Um, but a lot of times the work that we do behind the scenes with our clients is a big part of like moving their heart or their mind in some sort of way.
Mm,
um it's to get them to focus within. It's to get them to understand their power. It's to get them to see and feel the impact that they either do have or could have
mm,
on the potential people out there looking for them, right? So I would have them first, before anything, before putting pen to paper even, is
mm,
to close eyes and get crystal clear on who they are first of all, and why they're headed off in this journey again, and being crystal clear on why, and then the what. um the how comes after all that, you know. And what it looks like comes after all of that, because if you're not clear with any of that, then anything that you build isn't going to be aligned. It's just, it's going to be pretty.
mm.
Sorry, I got a
Hey,
call.
do you
Yeah,
think,
it's just gonna be pretty, but it's not gonna be clear.
man? And then this is the last question, and we're off. First of all, that was like major value that you just said. By the way, I don't know if that would went over someone's head. You said understanding the why, that comes first, and then I believe you said then the what, and then the how comes later, right? Powerful,
Yeah.
man. That is powerful. So here's the last part right here, Doss. So this is someone we can just speak, I guess, on the creative side, perhaps. We'll talk about, matter of fact, the branding and the photography side, since this is like a branding and photography thing. Last question here: how would you challenge someone leaving this live? How would you challenge someone that says, maybe on the photography side, that I need to get to the next level, I guess, the next level, whatever that looks like. If it's pursuing, a lot of people want to pursue fashion. I want to pursue that. Maybe I want to go ahead and start charging more. And then on the branding side, it can be okay. On the branding side, how do I reach? How do I become more seen? What
Mm.
two challenges for people that's worried about branding and the people that's worried about more on the photography side? How would you challenge them right now? What action would you tell them, like, all right, this is what you want to do? And yeah,
All right. Um, yeah. No matter what it is you want to do, make sure you understand what that is, like, and what that means to you. If you want to pursue fashion, like, you got to know fashion and understand what the industry is and what it's asking for. That's important. So no matter what direction it is, make sure that you understand it. So you're entering into something with some actual tools, and not just hope. um, and then I think I feel like I'm a broken record, but like, when you own your story and present it with clarity and price like the transformation is priceless, you stop chasing low budget clients and you start attracting the ones that see your worth from the very first hello, or from the very first click, or from the very first time that they find you. So it's like, be clear with who you are and what you're here to do,
I love
and
it.
every part of your story, like everything that led you to decide to do this business, um is a part of the business that you're running. Like, and I feel like, especially today, your audience is going to benefit from knowing every piece of that. um like, another leap in my photography career happened because I I understood finally why I'm good at capturing people. Like, why am I good at being a photographer? I'm good at being a photographer because of my family dynamics. When I was growing up, I was the youngest by 13 years, and I had a
Ooh,
bunch of like, you know, good-willed people trying to parent me, and I didn't really have a voice. I didn't have an opportunity to to really be seen for who I am. I never really got to understand who I was because I always had somebody telling me how to be and what not to do and when and be quiet and not now and all of that sort of stuff. So once I got into adulthood and I'm doing a lot of like l- learning and figuring myself out, it's like I see people because um that's how I communicate. Like that's how I get to like you know um that's how I feel seen almost. Like I feel seen because I can see you. So
Mm.
yeah, having that clarity within myself, that did something for my business. So the more clear you can be with who you are and why you're here and literally why you're doing what you're doing, the better, like it's going to resonate throughout everything that you do. And that's going to connect you with more of your audience just innately, just energetically. It's going to happen. So clarity piece is probably the most important. The clarity and alignment piece is more important than anything else.
That's truly amazing. And then that last part was more about the brand. So like, what would you challenge someone that is what would be a good challenge for someone that is working on this brand? And what did I say? I thought I typed it in here. Is working on this brand. Dang it, dude. What did I say? I was just going off dome. I'm telling you, dog. I'll be um some that you would challenge someone that has a brand. Oh yes. I think that's what it is. Someone that has a brand and they want to make that connection. They want to take their brand to the next level. I think that was more or less that's what it was.
um, what can they do to take their brand to the next level?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that-
Because yeah, what can they do to what challenge? So what's something that you recommend that would be challenging, but it would like be worthwhile for someone that can take their brand to the next level? Maybe they feel like they hit a ceiling. I know you probably require like a consultation because you got to really know the story. But how can we take that to the next level? How can we get this, whatever that looks like, more reach, more impact? What can we do to do that?
um, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I feel like
That's
like having that the face of the brand, putting the face out there and telling their story, more emotionally connected to their audience. I feel like that's going to be a needle mover. And if that's something that you're doing all the time already, then I think it's going to be, like more information needs to be collected. Like what is the transformation like from your client's mouth? Like you need to know what that is. But I really feel like people make leaps in what they're doing when they are authentic and share their story to their audience. That's when people are like, oh man, I can relate to that. Oh man, I really feel that. Like, it's we're on this earth, you know, dancing with other people. Like that's literally what it's all about. And the more people know about you and who you are and why you're here and what you're doing and how you can serve one another in this exchange, like, the better. So I would encourage, like, even if you're a business owner and you're showing up on social media, 4 times a week, make it 5 for a
mm,
minute, make it 6. If you're just showing up, pitching and talking about your products 100% of the time, break it down to 30% of the time for a minute and tell some personal stories about why you're doing what you're doing and how you feel when your client walks away changed in whatever way. Like talk about that stuff. That's people are going to resonate with that and they're going to feel that and understand it. Then they'll see the value in what you do if they didn't before. So that would be my suggestion.
man, and hey, Dodge just dropped some gold, y'all. So pretty much what he said was in the most simplest of terms, when it comes to your content, not only promo, you want proof content and vulnerable content. He said when you share that stuff, it's going to move people's hearts because people value connections more than everything. They value conversations. And one of the most universal things that everyone in the world feels like is want people to understand them. Everyone feels misunderstood. So if you can convey your message out there and they feel like that you understand them, that's where the money gonna come from. Is that, did I hear that correctly?
Absolutely, you sure did.
Hey man, how can people? How can we find you? How can we work with you? Let us know.
um, I think right now, find me on Instagram
IG
at
is the
Dauss
best
Miller.
way.
Yeah, yep.
IG.
I'm saying
Okay.
IG, the IG. I'm in a build phase, so I've actually paused my photography website
I saw.
because
I saw.
I'm re yeah, it's a painful period actually. I wasn't expecting it to matter so much, but yeah, I've paused my photography site because I'm still doing photography obviously, but I'm rebranding. I'm operating under the agency umbrella, so I'm trying to create that clarity that's so important and less confusion. So so yeah, so Instagram is where everything is at right now while I'm building.
Instagram. Man, I you just said something. This is my last thing. I'm so sorry. I do apologize.
Okay.
When should
No, man.
someone rebrand? Because a lot of people
When?
like, yeah, when? Because I don't know if you experienced this. This is just like, this is me kind of stepping out of the thing now. This is because I'm currently hearing people say this. They like, okay, I'm a rebrand. Or a lot of people rebrand when they have product launches every time. A lot of people rebrand if they feel like people are not connecting. So, from your expertise, when should someone actually rebrand?
Yeah, if there's any misalignment in what you're putting out, in terms of like what you're like, have you changed personally? Has something changed in your life? Like, is what your brand currently is, does that match who you are right now? If it doesn't, you need to rebrand. It's as simple as that. Like, what
Mm.
people see and feel from your brand, it needs to be in alignment with where you are right now. So we're constantly growing, obviously. So one thing that is important in my process in creating a brand, not only do I get all the history and story and the why and all of that, but we also vision cast. We look 5, 10 years into the future, to understand what your trajectory is and what your goals are and what your desires are and what kind of life you want to live and how you the kind of impact you want to have and what does that look like and where's it going to be. So we get like a full scope understanding of then, now, and then way far ahead. So um when we are creating the brand, we create something that resonates with that path. So it's going to resonate with who you are right now, and it's going to resonate with who you're becoming. So yeah, I say as soon as you're out of alignment with what your brand is for whatever reason, you need to change it, because the quickest way to impact your audience is to be 100% authentic. And if anything in your branding is out of alignment, then it needs to be changed.
Ooh wee. So thank you so much, Doss, for this. Man, I learned a lot as well. And I
Mhm.
love how you center everything with within the heart. I love the story, I love the journey, how really people just should just go within. And that right there, what I got from you will help you understand your brand more, will help you make understand your impact, will help you when it comes to your rates and the confidence with your rates is really just going from within. I feel like it's so simple that we can make that very complex. And I believe the
Yeah.
way you broke that down was so clear because it's like when you go within, like you said, clarity. Well, clarity determines everything. I love that, man. Thank you so much for this. Is there anything else you would love to say or would love to leave off with?
No, man, I kind of said my closing words. I do want to take just a second to appreciate you and how you're showing up, man. I really I think you've got a lot of fantastic knowledge and experience and skill yourself, and I see you out here, making a difference, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So I can appreciate you showing up just to make someone else's experience better, just to make someone else's business better, just to make someone's understanding of what they need to do and how to get to the next phases of what they're doing better. So
Wow.
I appreciate you, man.
Man,
I'll
now that's
close with
all
that.
thanks to you. Hey, look, I'm taking in 1 view a week. 1 view a week. We're gonna get to all right,
All in
man.
process.
Thank you so much. And then I'm gonna make sure you get everything. I sent you some questions just in case you wanted to use this as shorts or something like that. But thank you
Got
for
it.
your time, brother. Thank you for the blessing. We signing out, y'all. Hope this was valuable.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.